Today we are super excited to unveil the next generation of immersion circulator technology.
Because we have the Breville PolyScience HydroPro and HydroPro Plus, and we're going to show you why it is the best immersion circulator. Hello and welcome to WTF, where we transform food here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott Guerin.
And I'm Janie Wang, one of the owners of Modernist Pantry. And here on WTF, every Tuesday we talk about unique ingredients, techniques, and show you how to make these recipes in your own kitchen. So remember, subscribe and ring the bell, and you'll get notified of our content when it comes out on Tuesdays. And this week we are so excited because we are one of the first people in the country to have our hands on the new Breville PolyScience HydroPro Plus. Yes, I got it on the first take. There we go. It's the new next generation of Sous Vide immersion circulators, and we are super excited to have gotten a chance to test it out and to show you today what it can do and how it's going to just transform what sous vide means and the possibilities of sous vide. So, remember it, please stick around because we are actually doing a very special giveaway that we're going to mention at some point during this episode, so I'll watch to find out what that special giveaway is. Now, Scott, for people out there who've been doing sous vide for years and they are like, okay, I already have XYZ machine at home, what is the, I know we have a lot to cover today. Let's start with, the hardware aspect of it. What is so different about this new HydroPro and HydroPro Plus?
There's a lot of differences between this. First off, I'm just going to point out, this is on, this is working, and you cannot hear it. It is whisper quiet. So that is a big innovation. Second is the design. It is completely seamless. It is beautiful. It is stainless steel. A lot of people apparently were asking and wanted stainless steel. So easy to clean, and also up here is where it really shines. So the interface in here is just amazing if you've never done any sous vide.
Okay.
So there's a sous vide toolbox, so it pretty much gives you any meat, grain, vegetable, and it'll tell you exactly what temperature to set it to, and it sets it to it for you. If you want a puree or just soft, or if you want a meat, medium rare, it goes so further in depth than you really think about that it will help you become a better cook, and I truly believe that. And there's obviously some differences between the two units that we have.
Yeah, and I really love what you just said because I know that, right now we're also used to having apps on our phones and we do everything from our apps where we look up our recipes, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it's super nice if you're in a busy kitchen to not have to have an app in order to run your sous vide machine. Or, if you're like us and a couple of weeks ago we had no internet for 2 days and suddenly your sous vide machine wouldn't be any good if you can't
Think
get
about
online,
that.
right?
If for some reason internet was down, phone dies, your machine becomes a brick.
Yeah.
Some of them don't have any interface or anything like that. But this, you can absolutely go in, find everything, set it exactly how you want it. So that's a big plus for this.
Yeah, and of course we love working with the folks at Breville PolyScience because they're always innovating. They're on that cutting edge of technology. What is different about kind of the technology that goes into how the water is heated versus what we've been using?
So this is extremely mind-blowing, and I think I'll save a little bit of the magic for later on, but it's heated through induction, so it heats the water internally, but it's not like a traditional immersion circulator, whereas it sucks it up, runs it through a coil, and then pumps it back out. This actually goes into the machine, but it doesn't go into the inner workings of the machine. It is mind-blowing. One thing I want to touch just quickly on the setup of it, right? And we were talking about hardware. Now, traditional immersion circulators, you'd put it on, and then you'd have to crank this screw for a solid minute before it was even attached to the machine, and that led to a lot of people just leave it on the machine because they don't sometimes have time to completely unscrew it, clean it, completely screw it on. This has a quick release clamp, so it's off right now. Best part about this too is I can place this onto the side here. So if I have a shallow countertop, I can place it onto the side. And when I'm doing that, sometimes I need to turn my where the water comes out. So I can absolutely do that to make sure that it is working in the, the right proper way. If this was turned to the side and this was also turned to the side, then I'm going to be able to turn it and the water will be going exactly where I need it to go, as well as changing the flow rate of the water. Like, they've thought of everything for this. So yeah, I really love, this is my favorite part because it just makes taking it off, cleaning it, and reassembling it so easy.
Yeah, and I know that you were talking about how when you first started working it, you couldn't believe like how quickly you heated up that water.
Yep. Yeah, so there's a special heater that's in here with, which I talked about already, and it just heats the water so fast and it's so precise. Like, I've put in, kind of overloaded the bath on purpose to see how well it handles it, and I've never really seen it, dip more than 0.1, 0.2 degrees, and that's when I'm really overloading it. So it's amazing how well it heats it.
Yeah, which I think really brings us to one of my favorite features about this machine, which is the probe, which is a new part that I've personally never seen that before. And so when we talk about temperature control, and so also when we talk about the probe, it's only available on the Plus model, not the regular model. But let's talk about the probe and what is it doing?
All right, so I'll show you very simply. And this will kind of, some sous vide enthusiasts will go, oh, well, you can't do that, right? But you see there's a probe stuck directly into as my hollandaise falls down. But there's a probe stuck directly into my bag here, right? So what it is there's a bit of tape on there, and it's a special tape that allows you to stick it to the outside of the bag. I dry the bag very well, cut off a little piece of this tape, stick it, so when the probe goes through, it is water proof. So the probe will go through, it won't let anything out, it won't let anything in. Now, why would we do that?
Yeah.
Right, that's the big thing. We know that this is going to heat to a consistent temperature. So right here, I'm holding something at 140 degrees. This is my hollandaise. It is made of eggs, right? Eggs are potentially hazardous. I have to hold them at least 140 degrees. But I want to cook this to 135 degrees, okay? So now if I were just to leave it in here, this would eventually cook to 140 degrees. That's just how it is. But if I stick the probe in, you can see it's at about 45 degrees because I just put it in here not too long ago. I can cook this and pull it out at the exact temperature I need without having to worry about this becoming dangerous to serve. So there's a lot of different things. If I'm cooking, let's say, in a restaurant on the line, I have a number of tenderloins I want to put in. If they're all the same weight, I can put them all in there, probe one, so I can monitor one and know that they're all done at the same time, right? So I can then pull them out. If you cook it slightly higher temperature, like a Delta style cooking, that's for another episode, we can explain that.
Okay.
But just know that cooking at a higher temperature and pulling it at the exact temperature you need, you can get it done in maybe 10, 20, 30% less time, right? So this bath can be freed up for more things. So there's just so many things have been thought of with the HydroPro Plus that aren't available, just because this is an evolving type of cooking.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're saving energy, you're saving time, you're saving money, all great things, right?
Yes.
And kind of one of the things I want to touch upon, because we already mentioned, probe only available on the Plus, not this regular one. Are there any other differences between the base model, the HydroPro, versus the HydroPro Plus?
Just the ability to do HACCP monitoring. So let's say we are cooking something potentially hazardous at a low temperature. You want to cook fish at 104 degrees to just barely cook it through. That's pretty dangerous. You don't necessarily know unless you are logging it, making sure it's hitting the right temperatures within a certain amount of time. That all goes directly to your phone. It places it in a PDF. If you are working in a restaurant, commercial business, anything like that, health inspector comes in, here you go. There it is. No worries. I don't have to worry about, having to throw away product or anything like that. At home, it's also nice to just know, if you are like a food geek and you really want to know every little in and out, this will tell you every little in and out, like second by second, pretty much. So it's amazing what you can get out of just this probe and how well, how accurate it is. There's tons of different stuff. We could be here for hours talking about it, but yes, just amazing what the probe gives you for the HydroPro Plus.
Yeah, and I kind of love that because if you're a home cook, probably the base model is going to be pretty sufficient for the vast majority of your needs because you're not trying to do like a whole lot of different types of sous vide, you're not doing it in volume. So the base model will probably be great for all those things. And the base model is available right now at modernistpantry.com. It's $499.95. The Pro, which depending on when this episode is released, might or might not be available. Sorry, I meant the Plus model.
Yes.
But if it is available, it will also be on modernistpantry.com, and that retails for $599.95. Now, I did mention at the beginning of this episode, we are putting together a very special giveaway. And the giveaway is that if you leave your comments in the comment section below for the next 2 weeks, at the end of those 2 weeks, we're going to pick a winner who will receive a HydroPro Plus model at the price of the Hydro Plus, which is very cool. And you are going to be one of the first people in the entire country, if not the entire world, to get your hands on one of these units, and that is very exciting. So leave your comments below. Tell us what you want to cook with it. Hey, we love hearing from you.
Sure. So you're going to give someone the HydroPro Plus at the price of the HydroPro?
Yes.
I mean, that's a crazy deal.
Scott is entering himself as we speak.
So where's that comment section? Right. So I'm going to hit that up for sure. But quickly, I'm just going to show you really, what we did today for our demos. So what would I have in here is a pork roast, and pork roast is wonderful, but it's commonly overlooked. So I wanted to make a pork roast similar to a prime rib. So I was able to cook it to 135 degrees. Now, if you're worried about pasteurization, right inside here, or both of them, the Sous Vide toolbox can tell you exactly, all right, I want to make sure that it is cooked to medium rare, but is also pasteurized. So it'll extend the time, and it'll make sure it's completely pasteurized. You don't have to worry about any pathogens. It's really amazing. You can do it for chicken, you can do it for pork, beef, whatever it happens to be. Cool. So I was able to make a really beautiful roast. I sear it prior to going into the bag. When I do that, I find it gets a better roasty flavor, and then I just hit it at about 500 degrees in the oven for about 10 minutes to get a nice crust on the outside. Here we have two different things. I made chlorophyll, so I took some spinach and some tarragon and some scallions. I mixed them with water, I strained it out, and I saved that water, and then I heated that water to 158 degrees. At that temperature, the chlorophyll will coagulate and set to the top. You can take it off and you have this beautiful green color that you can add to anything that isn't like a fake food coloring, right? So if you have scraps or leftover, or maybe you have like a bag of spinach that's starting to go, you can absolutely make chlorophyll out of it, right? Then I made a hollandaise in here. One of the best parts about this is that I can make this, place it into my bath, and then the next day I can also reheat it, whereas hollandaise can't really be reheated if you make it in a bowl. It'll just set, and then it will go to the trash if it's not used. So that's another great thing. But I wanted to make like a play on green eggs and ham. So I'm going to get this down here. So I was able to make a béarnaise. So I made the hollandaise, I made the tarragon, and scallion chlorophyll, and then I put a little bit of tarragon in the vinegar here. So I was able to make like a really beautiful, right? Let's spray it, of course, on the side. But Janie, if you wanted to have a little bite of that, and while you take a bite of that, I'm going to talk about the last thing.
All right.
Sous vide or immersion circulating machines are a pain to clean. Generally, you have to run something through them. There's a lot of coils on the inside. This one is amazing. So as you can see, right, I can move this around, but I can pop it off. So that's the first part. I can pop this directly off. Second is a little impeller, right? So this is everything that moves the water. Because inside here, as you can see, it's just hollow, right? There's a small tungsten tip at the top. Right here is a small ruby, right? It's like a bearing system that they roll against each other, and they almost never wear out. If I want to clean this, it is clean. And it's that simple. A bag opens, and it gets all inside your machine. You don't have to spend a lot of time running, a number of baths through it. Also, this has a descaling setting on it, so you can set it and descale it easily within, an hour. So it's extremely easy. Just everything about it has really been thought out. They've heard everyone's concerns, and I love it.
It is good, and so is this. So we both have kids, so of course we all know green eggs and ham.
Yes.
So we thought it'd be really fun. Yes, so I do like it, Sam. I am. I can keep going. I'm not going to, but I could repeat that entire section.
Pretty much every.
It's very
every
tempting.
Word. Read it last night.
So this is super delicious. You can get this recipe in the description below. The link will be there, as well as more information. You can link to our pages about the HydroPro and the HydroPro Plus. You can read up a little bit more about it to get more information, and that'll be super fun. So remember, leave your comments in the next 2 weeks to be entered in the drawing to win one HydroPro Plus at the price of a HydroPro,
So
which will be
$100 off pretty much, right?
yeah, and also be just one of the first people to own it, which will be super, super exciting. You'll be the envy of all your friends. So remember, if you do any of these recipes, tag us social media, at Modernist Pantry. So until next week, from the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie Wang.
And I'm Scott Jones. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell so you get notified when we drop a new video.
To get today's recipes and all of our recipes, remember to go to blog.modernistpantry.com, where you get recipes, ask a chefs, tips and tricks, and more.
And if you haven't already, tell a friend so they know what's going on here at WTF.
And as always, to get any of the ingredients you saw today, you can go to modernistpantry.com to shop.
And until next time, we'll be here in the test kitchen helping you create memorable and magical experiences.